Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to a brand new series, my top 5 ride or die. So I wanted to do this because it gives me the opportunity to talk about a variety of topics and things that I love or don't love so much. So if there's anything that you guys want to see me talk about, my top 5 best or top 5 worst, then let me know in the comments section below. And if you guys like this type of video and you want to see more of it on the channel, make sure you give it a big old thumbs up. So today I thought it would be really fun to talk about my top 5 comic books that I would recommend reading that are not DC or Marvel. The first one I want to recommend is this one. I just mentioned this in my rapid fire book tag. I will leave a link to that in the cards above if you guys haven't checked it out. But this is Zodiac Star Force by The Powers of Astra, and it's written by Kevin Panetta and illustrated by Paulina Ganucheau. And this is a really fun story about friendship and girl power and kicking butt, and I actually would recommend it for like young adults and teen girls in particular. It's big, it's bright, it's colorful, it's fun, and it's just so positive. It's a story about like friendship and power, and it's a group of teenage girls basically who have these magical powers who want to protect our planet from monsters, creatures, bad people, you name it. And the group is known as the Zodiac Star Force. And these girls are all in high school. They're struggling with things that high school girls struggle with, and then also struggling with things that superheroes struggle with. And it's just a really fun, positive, empowering story. So it's one that I definitely recommend. It's very like Gem in the Holograms, like 80s-esque, and if you couldn't tell by the coloring. And here is our Zodiac Star Force on the back. It's just such a fun story. There's only one volume that I'm aware of, but I just love this. It's so charming and so much fun. And I think I forgot to mention the publisher is Dark Horse Comics. The next comic book I want to recommend is I Hate Fairyland. This is a comic book series written by Skottie Young, and this is probably my favorite of his. This is from Image Comics, and oh my god, it's brutal. It looks kind of cutesy in terms of the artwork, but that cutesiness contrasts with like really funny swearing and just uber violence, and it's just so much fun. Basically, you have our main character Gertrude, and she gets stuck in fairyland, and she's about 7 years old, and she's going on her quest to find her way out. She's a happy, bubbly young girl. Well, she doesn't make it out of fairyland. And so fast forward 20 years, she's a 27-year-old stuck in a 7-year-old's body, and she's pissed off. And it is just so violent and grotesque, but again, contrasted with this cutesy fairyland, it's unreal. I've never seen anything like it. The artwork is amazing. The writing is amazing. The story is just really funny and a little graphic, but I definitely enjoy it. And there are actually 3 volumes, so this is the first one. Then we have volume 2, Fluff My Life. And we're currently on issue 3, which is Good Girl. So I definitely love this series. It's pretty intense, it's pretty fun and grotesque and just really unique. The next comic book I want to recommend is also from Dark Horse Comics. This is called Lady Killer. This is written by Joelle Jones and Jamie Rich, and it is basically a 1950s housewife who is also secretly an assassin. So we have this really amazing 1950s stereotypical all-American family setting, and then this badass lady who is also a spy, and her family doesn't know it. So this is just really fun. The artwork is a little more intense, and the story is just really fun. It's incredible. Again, I love the contrast in the setting of the 1950s, very Americana life, and then this badass female character. It's so cool. I believe there are 2 volumes out now. I only have the first one so far. I need to pick up the second one, but this is really fun. If you guys are into that kind of spy type stuff and you want a badass, strong female lead, I think this is a great one. And I really enjoy it. Again, it's a little graphic, a little violent. It's not going to be very happy-go-lucky like Zodiac Star Force is, but if you guys are into that kind of thing, I think this could be a really fun option for you. The next comic series is an Image comic series. It is Bitch Planet. This one's fairly popular. There are maybe 3 or 4 volumes out now. I think I've only gotten through the first 2, and this is like a feminist dream. And I don't think that you have to be a female to love and appreciate it, but the story is very dystopian. So basically the narrative follows a variety of women who are in prison, and you following each of their stories about how they got there and what they did. So these women are not compliant, they're seen as troublemakers. So this is just kind of the comic series I think that we need and we all deserve these days. Not only is it feminist, but you have a wide array of different types of characters, backgrounds, a lot of diversity in here. It's a space prison and there's a ton of violence. So yeah, it's one of the more intense ones. It's pretty heavy in terms of the themes. So if you guys are just looking for something fun, I don't think this is it, but I do think that this is a series that a lot of people should be reading. Really, really good. So I've got the first 2 volumes, but I definitely recommend checking them out. Again, they're pretty graphic, they're pretty violent. You know, those are also the types of comics I like to read, so a lot of my recommendations may not be so kid-friendly. I would say Zodiac Star Force definitely is. These are not, but these are really, really good, and I do highly recommend. And continuing on with the theme of violence and something I have continually pushed on this channel, this is Red Rising by Pierce Brown. This is the prequel to his Red Rising trilogy. Is it a trilogy? There's 4 books. I don't know if that's starting a new trilogy. Anyway, this is 6 single issues, the 1 solitary volume from Dynamite Comics, and I love it. Again, violent, intense, sci-fi, space, dystopia. Do I think you need to read Red Rising in order to enjoy this? No. Do I think you would benefit from reading at least the first book in the Red Rising trilogy? Yes. I think this does add a little bit to that series, or you're adding to this by reading it, but I don't think you need to. It's really well done. I love the art. The art is so unique in this one. And I don't know, maybe if you read it and you like the story enough, it'll compel you to read Red Rising. I am a total book pusher, so it's one of my favorite book series. So if this is going to be the thing to get you to read it, definitely do recommend. I featured it in a couple of my Midtown Comics hauls previously. Do recommend. I love it so much, so I definitely had to add it into my top 5. So that is my top 5 comics that are not DC or Marvel that I think you guys should definitely read. But I do have a couple of honorable mentions. One of them I have with me, one of them I do not. The first one I want to recommend is the Zombillennium series. This is a French comic series that was translated into English from Arthur Dipins, and it is Dupois, I believe is how you say it, comics. And they have a couple of issues out. The first one is Gretchen. It basically takes place at like a Halloween theme park that is run by monsters, and a human sort of interjects himself into that world, so you're sort of following him going through the motions while the monsters are trying to keep the fact that they're monsters under wraps. And it's just really fun and really unique. The artwork was fantastic. I really, really enjoyed it. So I do recommend if you can find it. I will leave links, by the way, to all of these comics down below if you guys want to check them out. The other honorable mention that I have is Clue. I featured this in I think it was a Barnes & Noble haul. And this is basically the board game Clue, only in a graphic novel. And this is from IDW. Basically, it's your classic, you know, whodunit, but it features a more modern take on it, and you do have a very diverse cast of characters, which I think is amazing. So if you guys are into like murder mystery type things, I think this is a really fun option. I think this is a really fun one to check out if you guys are into that kind of thing. So there you have it. I want to know what you guys think. Let me know some of your recommendations, some of your top 5 down below. And again, if you guys like this series, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up. That'll let me know to do more. And if you guys have any suggestions, let me know. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!